So we've learned from Cobra Kai it takes a week to become a ninja in person. How long does it take to become a ninja doing it over Zoom?
Oh. It was crazy because first of all, I did it in my garage. So then I went to the garage, it wasn't closed, and then I live in Houston, Texas, so you can just put those two and two together. It was very hot. It was very hot, and then I had the neighbors like looking at me saying like, "What is he doing in the garage?" Doing kicks and stuff like that. And they was like, "What is going on?" They asked me, of course, they asked me after, and I was just telling them, "Yeah, I'm sitting in the table for Power Rangers." And they was like, "Power Rangers," and I was like, "Yeah." They're just like, "That's still filmed?" I said, "That's the same thing I just said." Still filmed? Literally 30 years. Because my neighbors are like much older dudes. So they was like, "Yeah, man, I used to watch that back in the day." And he was like, "Yeah, I didn't know they were still around." I said, "I didn't either, but I'm auditioning for it now." And then literally after that Zoom call, that's when I said, "They flew me out." And then they got the personality. It's called a personality check. And then after that, we went. They sent me the email saying I got the role.
Nice. They keep making you train throughout the course of the show.
Yeah, so I went down 6 weeks, 7 weeks before I actually started filming my part. Because Gold Ranger coming to every season last. Mm-hmm. So so they flew me out I'm gonna just say 7 weeks. 7 weeks before I started filming. And I trained, woke up every morning at 5 a.m. Had training sessions all day, and I'll pop it in around 4 or something, 4 p.m. And then it was literally the same thing 5 days a week. You talking about sword.
Okay. I'll overlap some of the stuff we talked about in our interview, but
of course.
What was your experience with Power Rangers before doing it?
That growing up, my favorite thing was going home to watch a roundhouse kick happen. And that my favorite color was red, so it was like a red Power Ranger roundhouse kick. That's my favorite. I love it. That's what I'm going with.
So did you watch a lot of Mighty Morphin?
I'm pretty sure growing up that's what I was watching.
Okay, so when they started bringing in the characters, did you geek out at all?
As far as what you mean?
Like Lord Zed.
Oh, most definitely. Lord Zed. That was number one. And then how my character was with Lord Zed in my series made it so much better. It was just like the Green Morphin Master woke me up. Just to come defeat Zed. So it's just like, that's cool. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And then to work with, David, that was also amazing as well. So,
Nice. Any questions?
Listening.
So I heard a rumor that you don't do your own roundhouse kicks.
Some of them I don't. Like more like, if it's like,
you told me that, but
if it's like in suit, if it's like in suit after 6 backflips, most definitely not me.
Come on, do 6 backflips.
Most definitely not me. If it was after 6 backflips, most definitely not me. But Power Rangers in this new day and age, like the newest 3 seasons, they were so what's the word I can say? They were they babied us almost. Are you sure you can do that? You should we wanted to do our own stunts. We wanted to so much of our own stunts we wanted to do, and they were just oh, we gotta have a meeting about it. Oh, we gotta sit down with you and make sure you're able to are you comfortable with it? Our stunt team was amazing, and they was the same way. They were just are you sure? We'll fall. I play football, so my fall and what they think hurts don't hurt me. I'll bump a water, oh, you're okay. I was yeah, I'm perfectly fine. I jumping on the mats and different stuff, doing a cartwheel or something and landing on the mat, they gonna come and show them good. But they were just they were so scared for us to get hurt because we was already dealing with COVID. So it's just we don't need no other ways of slowing down this process of making this TV show. Okay. So a lot of the civilian stuff we was able to do. So if you watch the show and you see some civilian fights and kicks and stuff, that was me. That's the stuff they allowed us to do. But majority of the crazy stuff that you see done in suits, that's my stunt double.
Was all the stuff they wanted you to do self-explanatory, or did they have to have you kind of create it?
So we had we was choreographed fights that happened, and guys, literally, we don't get a week or 2 to learn that fight. We get 20 to 25 minutes before we film to learn a fight. Oh, it's very quick. We film 12 episodes. We film 4 episodes every 12 days. So we're moving quickly, very quickly. So it was some stressful times. And me, this was my first acting job. And my main thing of not, because I didn't want to become an actor. I don't know if a lot of people know that. I did not want to be an actor growing up. I was modeling and I was an athlete. And that was what I was comfortable with. And then my agency in Houston was just like, Jordon, you should try acting. And I'm just like, no, absolutely not. This was back in 2017. I said, absolutely not. Like, I'm big on staying in my lane, so that's what I'm gonna do. And he was just like, 2 years later, it was 2019. He was like, Jordon, we have this opportunity for you again to go in front of all these managers and agents. If you wanna like consider acting. I was like, nah, I'm good. She was like, no, you're gonna do it this time. I'm telling you, you're gonna do it. This is my agency that I was with. And their whole thing is to get you to bigger and better managers and agents. Like that's what it's called, a mother agency. So they're just like, no, you're going to do acting. I don't care if you have to do one competition. Because it's a competition in LA called IMTA. And it's a competition where a lot of models and actors go to get recognized and like looked at by different managers and agents all over the world. I mean, like from Japan, Asia, London, like cities and states here in the United States. So I went to this competition. I did 4 modeling competitions and I did 1 acting competition. I got more callbacks for my 1 acting competitions than modeling. I had a total of like 89 callbacks of like different managers and agents wanting to sign me. I was in school at the time, and like I was in college at the time. I was going to my 2nd semester of my freshman year, and I missed the first 3 weeks of my 2nd semester because I had to sit at home with my mom and figure out who I wanted to sign with, because it was everybody calling saying like, oh, I can do this for you. I can do this for you. Oh, I can get you in front of these people. Oh, I know these people. And I'm just like, who do I trust? Who do I trust? So I ended up going with my gut feeling. And I ended up signing with the team that I'm with now, Dreamscope Entertainment, which is they're based in Los Angeles, California. So, yeah.
And they got you in one of the biggest television kids
Right.
shows of all time,
Right.
and a Hallmark movie, man. Like, I'm
Right.
seriously jealous. Like, you can ask my friends over there. The Hallmark thing is not even a joke.
Oh, that's why you asked me as soon as I walked in. He's like, question.
Sorry.
Yeah. So it's called Practically Married. I have a little small part in it, like I was telling him. A friend of mine was one of the leads in it. She was just like, I always wanted to do a project with you, like, but my schedule during the time that they was filming was like hectic. Like, I was super busy, and she was just like, well, if you can just come at least do a small part in it. I'm just like, she was like 1 or 2 days a day. And I'm just like, okay, I can do that. I can figure out in my schedule to come and film 1 or 2 days. So it's called Practically Married. It's a Hallmark movie. It's supposed to be coming out on Christmas Day. I need to reach back out to him and make sure that's still on key. But yeah.
Any questions, guys?
Was it daunting to join the Power Rangers? I mean, like, it's a 30-year run show. Like, was that scary, or was the fact that you weren't super involved with it prior to, like, knowledge-wise, like, was that easier or harder, do you think?
Oh man, the whole process was just like so like mind blowing. The whole fact of a 30-year franchise still filming, like it's still relevant. And I didn't realize that until I got into the show, because I was like, Power Rangers, like I was saying, Power Rangers still filming? Like, it's 30 years? Like, I know I was watching that when I was 5, 6 years old. It's still running and relevant. People still watch that. My manager was just like, well, do you want to still audition for it? Absolutely. Like, what's the chances of me becoming a Power Ranger? Like, my childhood be screaming right now. And then it turns out I get the job, and it's like going into it. So I don't know if everyone knows this, but I'm the first African-American Gold Power Ranger, and also first African-American Sixth Ranger in Power Rangers history of 30 years. So me going into it, I'm just like, oh, yeah, it's cool, whatever. And then I always remember this date. It was April 9th, 2021, when I got revealed to like the world that I was coming to Gold Power Ranger. Like everyone showed like they made it a thing. Like, this is big, and I was just like, oh, this is for real. Oh wow, it's more than just like cool or whatever. So that was amazing. But just going in, just fulfilling the shoes that like everybody just don't need a Power Ranger. Like in my regular day life, people are like, you a what? I'm like, I'm a Power Ranger. They be like, stop playing. Like, you're not no Power Ranger, because nobody really like just meet a Power Ranger. So for me to just join a franchise that is very rare, I'm very honored, and I never take it for granted.
What's been your experience meeting past cast members?
Oh my gosh, it's amazing, and that's why I love doing these cons. I get to meet like other Rangers from different seasons. Of course, meeting everyone. Like anybody that supports me, I will always love to meet you. I'm a people's person. I love people. I love communicating. And if I could just be around the people that watch me or look up to me or on any kind of sorts of thing like that, I would love to have a conversation with you. Like literally. That's why I love doing these cons and different things like that, and traveling to different cities, seeing different cultures. Because I'm either in Houston or in Los Angeles. And when I became a Power Ranger, it was just like I get to go to these different cities and meet all these different types of people. And it's not like when people come up to my table, I'm just like, oh, what picture would you like? Oh, okay, now have a nice day. No, I want to have a conversation with you. How's your name? What's your name? When is your birthday? Like all those different things. I like to get to know people and see what their headspace is at and all those different things. So I enjoy every moment of it.
Nice. Yeah, you get to keep doing these for the rest of your life if you
That's
want
the
to.
crazy part.
Now that you're a Power Ranger, like you're
That's the
guaranteed a spot at a convention. Like,
Right.
For the rest
This
of
is our residuals. Because we know the show don't give them.
So, yeah, Ryan always understood, Power Rangers, like, come off, what's your answer? So, but my question here for you is that because you have a background in athletics, unless you had some form of martial arts training, was it easier for you to learn some of the moves and to be able to do the fight scenes because of an athletics background, or did you have some form of martial arts training?
I didn't. No martial arts background, just pure athlete, can run and jump. And the hardest part about anything dealing with martial arts is the stretching. That was the hardest thing. Like literally, it hurt. Just like, I don't know if my body was just tight. All of ours, like literally everyone's. Like if you're not flexible, the way Japanese stretch, you can't. Like if you're not stretchable, you can't. You're not lasting at all. Like they do this whole thing to where our legs is together. And they get on our back and push our back down. Like chest supposed to touch the floor. Absolutely not. Like absolutely not. Like the hardest part of like the whole training process was the stretching. But as far as like the fighting and all those different things, I learned a lot, of course. It's the difference between fighting in real life and fighting on camera. Fighting on camera, especially for a show like Power Rangers, everything is over exaggerated. So instead of a jab, you throw something out here, is something that the camera can pick up. So
Sure.
I learned the different ways of fighting. So they taught us how to fight, of course. They taught us like boxing, hitting the mats, and all those different stuff. And then they start teaching us kicks and all those different things. Of course, how to kick and then how to kick on camera. So that's why it took 6 weeks, you know what I mean, of me just in New Zealand training to kick and punch and do all those different things and learn these different sequences and stuff. So very, very easy, of course, because I was athletic and then I'm a competitor. So anything that I try or get into, I'm giving it 100% and I'm doing my best at it. So it was kind of like hand in hand, like perfect.
You still doing the karate training?
No, I need to start back though. I don't know, what am I doing? I've been in the gym, of course, but I need to start back like training like that. So it wouldn't be like me just. But I feel like it's all mindset, it's all brain. It's just like riding a bike, You start riding a bike and then you get back doing it. Just like, oh, it's gonna be weird at first, but then you get the hang of it again. So I actually do need to start back. That's great. Yeah.
I have a question. So, what was the most surprising thing to you when you did start acting?
Oh my gosh,
What shocked you the most about being an actor?
me remembering my lines. So the reason I didn't want to be an actor growing up was I was scared, afraid. I don't like using the word scared. I was afraid of forgetting my lines and like going blank. Like just being committed to something and you getting paid to do this and then you're not giving them what they want. And that's me like forgetting my lines on set. And I have a story about that later after I answer your question. But memorization was like one of my biggest things. And going into it, that's what I was scared of. Like, I'm going to New Zealand. I'm 19 years old. They booked me for this role. Oh, it's not a co-star. This is lead role. Like, you finna have some stuff to memorize. So I got my first 4 episodes that I got. And, I was learning the lines like easily. But of course, I'm by myself. I have people running the lines with me. So it's just like, oh yeah, it's cool and easy. But when you have lights, camera, action, like it's a whole different ballpark. So I always remember this story. My first day on set, before, lines down. Like I'm good, everything good. That morning, so I woke up around like 4:30 a.m. Got ready, got picked up at 5 a.m. by a cash driver, And then got to set, went to makeup, going over my lines and stuff. So when we get to set, we get a side script of like the scenes we're going to do that day. And then, of course, I highlight my lines that I have for the day or whatever. So, and we film out of order. So the first part of the day, we'll be filming something from episode 3. And then the next scene that we film, it'll be something from episode 2 or something like that. We film so much out of order. So it ain't like I can learn the episodes in order. No, it don't work like that. So you'll probably film something that happens before. So going into that headspace as well was just like, but the more you overthink about something, the more you procrastinate, the worse it gets. So I just like, forget all that. I'm finna just learn these lines. And which was also one of my biggest fears. And then my first day on set, I get to set, I know all my lines, we go through rehearsal, we go through walkthrough, and we go through rehearsal. I'm on point, like don't even need my sides. And as soon as it was time to like go time, the lead AD was just like quiet on set. Of course, telling all the camera, making sure everybody good to go. And then it was like, all right, action. And my first line. So in acting world, you can attest to this, but like when you forget your line, you say line. And then they take the script supervisor tell you your line or whatever, or the word that you missed or anything. They just make sure you're saying your lines. And I always remember he said action set, and I froze like literally like a deer in headlights. And I'm looking at my scene partner, they looking at me like, and I'm just looking like, line! And the person ended up telling me the line. Everybody on set laughed, they cut, got all the laughs and giggles out the way, and they were just like, are you okay? And I'm just like, I'm perfectly fine, I'm just nervous. And the rest of the day went well, but I always remember me going blank. Something that I was afraid of going into it, it happened my first day on set, the first line of the day, everything. But all the jury just got out, the rest of the film went well, and yeah.
You got that out of the way.
Got that out of the way early, you know what I mean? And that's the whole story of like jumping into the deep. I was thrown into the deep end. Are you gonna survive or are you gonna drown? And I picked survival mode, and that taught me a lot through life, and it prepared me. And that's why I'm blessed that God put me on a platform to where I'm able to share that and let anybody know that in any career field that you do. Like if I didn't want to become an actor, but I was tuned in on trying something new. So that's why I tell like kids, especially like that's when I go back home, and I'm trying to do it in different cities as well as I go to different schools and I talk to kids. And I just tell them, you never know what you're destined for. Try new things. If I would have never tried acting, there's no telling where my life would be at right now. So yeah, try new things. You never know what you're destined for. Don't look at me, I'm an actor. Yes, ma'am.
Did you ever go back to school? Did you ever go back to college?
No, I did not. No, I did not. So, to piggyback on that, my family is such a college-oriented family. Like, college or nothing. Like, you need to go to college. There's no other option. You need to go to college. And I went to college, and then when the show came around, they were just like, so yeah, you're going to have to figure it out because you're going to have to do that and school. And I'm just like, is that possible? Like, because school is hard. And then that is hard. So I'm just like, oh my gosh. And then I was in the headspace of like, man, I'm finna go film a national TV show. Like, what is school? And that's what's going in at the back of my head. And then once the contract and stuff came out, my mom and them was just like, yeah, go do that. go do that. And then it was also in New Zealand, because we filmed in New Zealand. So that's where I stayed at. And it was going to like, if anything, like online school would have been difficult because of the time zones and stuff. I just wanted to, like, this was my first acting job. I was scared. My biggest fear is memorization. So if I'm trying to remember this algebra stuff with these letters and numbers, algebra got crazy. But trying to do that and then I just wanted, like me, I love putting my all into one thing at a time. That's why I do one thing at a time, and I do it in those different things. So I want to give acting, especially my first job ever, I have to leave a good, best impression is first impression is best impression. So I was just like, no, I want to get my full forward, like, and then of course my parents and all was just like, okay. And I was just telling them like, school won't always be there. This opportunity to be a Power Ranger is not. So let me do this very well, to my best ability.
Nice. Any other questions?
We don't have to be about Power Rangers.
How was New Zealand? Was that pretty sweet?
New Zealand is probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to. It's something I always tell people, it's something a picture can't describe. Like I can show you millions of pictures right now And you just be like, oh, that's nice, that's beautiful. And then you're there and you're just like, wow. Like, it was some days on set, like we'll be on a mountain or a hill or something, and you can just see everything. You can just see everything. You just, like, all you can do is sit there and admire. The air is fresher. Oh my gosh, fresh air. The weather's beautiful. The water's beautiful. The people are amazing. Like, cops don't even carry guns out there.
How you kidding?
They carry tasers. They keep their guns in the car. They don't need them. It's out of the first time when I went over there, I was there for 10 months. Literally 2 incidents happened that I was acknowledged of. Where I'm from in Houston, it's something that happens every morning. It's something on the news coming every morning. I'm pretty sure that's in every city. It's something violent related. Like, at first I thought the news was for, like, they just want to share these different things, like community stuff. And all of Houston is like the news is like the new crime, like Crime Stoppers. Like, it's literally everything that comes on the news is crime. Crime. And like going to a place like New Zealand where you didn't see that every day, it was just like, I felt comfortable to walk home at night. Like I feel comfortable like doing that stuff. So New Zealand is a beautiful place. I love the people there. Very nice people, very genuine people. But yeah, New Zealand is a beautiful place.
Yeah, it has one of the lowest crime rates and lowest incidences of gun violence per capita in the world.
Yep.
And you don't have to tip.
You don't always tip.
You don't have to tip nothing. Like when you
No,
actually,
in those countries, they like find it offensive.
oh, most definitely. I remember my first experience because, guys, I'm from Houston. I'm from the South. Like, it's a such thing as Southern hospitality. So me, it's always yes, ma'am, no, sir. Like, it don't matter if you're older than me. That's what I'm called. Yes, ma'am, no, sir. It don't matter. You can be 4 years older than me. Yes, ma'am, yes, sir. That's just how I was raised. So me going out there and then like telling the bartender, like if it was like a older male, yes, sir. Just like, why are you calling me that? Or if I try to leave a tip, he's just like, oh no, I can't take that. I'm just like, let me take it from under there and hand it to you on the side. No, I'm okay, sir. Like, I'm good. I'm just like, why is he not taking this tip that I'm trying to give him? And then that's when New Zealanders was just saying like, yeah, we take that offensive down here trying to give us a tip. Like, what is you trying to give us money for?
Because they actually get paid.
Because they actually, you're right. And that's also another thing that I have to like consider as well. Like, they get paid well. So it's just like, what do we need this tip for? So the United States needs to get this shit together.
Make us all want to move here.
Right. I literally would consider that. Like, if I was like, I don't know. I did tell some of my castmates, like, we was all thinking, like, would you all move to, like, New Zealand? And everybody was like, absolutely. Like, if I was to book, like, a movie or something, like, out there, or a TV series out there, I would definitely move there. Most definitely.
I mean, you get you on Lord of the Rings.
That'd be super cool.
Isn't that where they film?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they moved it to London too.
They did. Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Or Europe, or somewhere in Europe.
Oh, okay. Super cool.
Wherever doesn't need to be filmed, like in the Shire area, is filmed other places.
Right. You have a question?
Through your training, you said it got, somewhat tiring doing the long days. Was there ever a time where you thought about quitting? And if so, what was it?
I can give you 2 stories, during filming and before filming. So I started acting in November of 2019. And the competition that I was telling you guys about happened in January of 2020. And I signed with a management team in February of 2020. And I got my first audition, I think like March 3rd or March 4th of 2020. And me going into something new, of course, nothing in life happens overnight. And that's something me growing up had to learn. And before I booked Rangers, like I got my first, Power Rangers was my 3rd audition I ever got in my life, like 3rd or 2nd in my life. And I did the auditions, like I'm auditioning. So my management team wanted me to coach with an acting coach before every audition. Like, you need acting coach for every audition you do. And I was like, okay. Like, me not thinking like, okay, like maybe I'm getting auditions, 1 audition every 2 weeks or something. No, I was getting like 5 to 6 auditions a week. Like, very weekly. Like, and it was like, this is happening constantly. And it was starting to get like unaffordable. Like, it was like, okay, this is $60 an hour, is adding up. You know what I mean? Like, it's starting to add up. And I wasn't getting any callbacks. I get a callback, I'm like, okay, this might be the one. And then I get to like the 3rd or 4th round, and then I'm out. And then the same thing will happen. I'll get to the first round, and then it'll like nothing wasn't happening. March went by. And then all the months prior, just like everything going by, nothing wasn't happening. I get a call back or two, nothing wasn't happening. I'm just like, all right, I can't do this like I'm gonna be broke. Like if this keeps up and I'm not getting nothing. So it was one moment, my team reached out. This is before the strike. I had a 15-page audition due the next day.
That's why we struck.
Yep. That's exactly, that was one of the reasons we struck also. They have to give us like 48 hours now. Yeah. So this is pre-strike. And I had a 15-page audition due the next day. It was like urgent tape due now. And I'm just like, oh my God. And I was at the point, I was just starting. So I'm like, I can't turn down anything. Because every audition is a job opportunity. That is a job interview. So you want to take your time and do your best at all of them, because this is your job interview. This is the face that's going in front of these casting directors and different things like that. And yeah, it was tough, and nothing wasn't happening for me. So I was one night of that 15-page audition. I was struggling. It was hard, and like I will get with audition tape. It ain't no. You can film these couple lines here and cut into it, and you can't do none of that. It's rare tape, bare tape. Yes, with self-tapes, you get second chances. You can mess up how many other times you want, versus in person, it's like you can mess up, of course. It's okay to mess up. Everybody, man. Nobody's perfect. But self-tapes, you get to take more time. You get to send in the best one, all that different things. But when it's something like 15 pages, where you get the first 3 pages, you on a roll. Like, this is going to be the good one. And then you get to page 4 and 5, and you start messing up. You can't cut that out and add a good one in. You can't do none of that. So I kept messing up. It was like different moments. I kept messing up. It was very difficult. And it was me and my mom in a hot garage in Houston, Texas in the summertime. In between takes, we turning on the fan. And it just hit me. I was just like, in my head, I'm just like, do I really want to do this? Like, do I see myself doing this as my career? And like, it was one of the takes. I was like, it was 15 pages. I was like on page of dialogue. We was like on page 13 and 14, and I messed up. And it wasn't like a fixable mess up. It was like you got to start this over mess up. And I said, I quit. Get this. Walked out of the garage, walked into the house. Mom came upstairs. She was just like, look, this is what you wanted to do. Because we had this talk back in January and February when I signed with my management team. She was like, this is what you wanted to do. So are you gonna survive, or are you gonna let it whoop your, you know what? What you gonna do? She had to talk to me like that though. She was just like, what you gonna do? Like, you've been competitive your whole life. You've been an athlete your whole life. You've been, everything you do, you want to give it 100%. This is what you want to do? And me, I'm tearing-eyed. I'm sniffing. I'm like, man, this is hard. Da, da, da. She said, you want to be a professional at anything, right? Everything's gonna be hard. Anything that you pull your full force into, you're gonna have those difficult days. You're gonna have those ups and downs. And she was just like, look, you sleep on it tonight. And when we wake up in the morning, I'm gonna wake you up. She said, I'm gonna wake you up in a couple of hours, because it was late at night too. It was like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And she was like, I'm gonna wake you up in a couple of hours, so get you some rest. And when we wake up in the morning, you're gonna do you want to do this? I was like, yes, ma'am. She was like, all right, get your mind right, go to bed. Woke up that next morning, went and knocked the audition out, sent it in by 10 a.m. And from that day forward, it grounded me. It was just like, okay, this is what it is. And literally 2 weeks after that, I got my call back from Power Rangers. And so when I got my call back from Power Rangers, I prayed on it, of course. This is that night. So I prayed it before I went to sleep and stuff like this. I'm just like, God, give me the vision. Like, this is what I'm doing for the rest of my life. And literally sent in an audition that day. Didn't hear back nothing from that show, right? All that stress that I went through, but me doing that 15-page audition prepared me for anything that's coming up in my life. Like, literally, it taught me so much. And it taught me to, of course, like when somebody, that's like me meeting somebody random saying, never give up. They're like, oh, I always hear that. What does that mean? And that's how I was growing up. Like, before I booked Power Rangers, I was just like, yeah, what's that? Like, okay, never give up. Okay, cool. Like, everybody tells me that. Yeah, it's just life. Yeah, never give up. You're going to be great. It took me going through that to see that. it took me going through that to know that 2 weeks later I was going to get my call back for Power Rangers. And then once I got that second call back for Power Rangers, everything was in like 3-day increments. So like when I got my second call back for Power Rangers, 3 days later, I got my next one, 2 days later. Oh, we're flying you out to LA. 3 days later, oh, you got a martial arts thing, you need to do this, blah, 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 send this in. 2 days later, get that email saying I booked the role. So after those months, because I did my first audition in March, I didn't hear nothing back till July.
Easter family.
Yes, sir.
I said it was Easter family.
Most definitely.
You got everything or you got nothing?
Most definitely. And when July came around, it was just like, okay, like everything happens like that quickly. But through that process, through that journey before July, it was just like I wanted to give up, like forget this. And then for that to happen after, it was just like, okay, like you have to go through those dark times. And I didn't know that growing up because everything was just like, so I was in high school, you know what I mean?
What was the name of the show that gave you the 15-page garbage?
You know what? That is a great question. And I have all my scripts at home. I need to go see, because I have all my scripts saved that I did throughout the years. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and see what that is, because that one right there got me right.
I would love to know. The producer.
Most definitely. And it wasn't the script itself, it was just the amount and the deadline.
And the deadline, because that wasn't right. Right, that doesn't even sound fair.
Right. And then even my audition for Power Rangers was difficult. So Simon Bennett, which is our executive producer, he was on a callback. This was the last callback before I learned that I got the role. And Simon Bennett, I remember Simon Bennett on the call, and it was Iris, which was our casting director, and then it was 2 more other people on the call. I had a reader, and then it was 1 more lady on the call. I think it was Sarah Spreads. I think Sarah was on the call. And I was doing an audition, and I have an acting coach for every audition, like I told you that my manager suggested me to do. So the night before, my acting coach told me to learn the other characters' lines.
Other characters?
Yes. Learn the other characters' lines too. And I'm just like, what? She was just like, trust me, learn the other characters' lines. Just in case, like just so you know the story, you know what they supposed to be saying, you know what you're supposed to be saying, you know your cues, you know all that. And she said a lot of more other stuff that I needed to know. It's why I needed to learn the other characters' lines. So we get into the audition. Audition is going well. They're like, okay, can you say the scene? And they first of all, on the audition, like, you can attest to this as well. Like on the first time you go around, they don't say nothing. They just say, go for it. Just go. And then you go and they see how you do it. They see the way that you wanted to, like, seeing how the scene was supposed to go. And then the second time they ask you, oh, change this. Oh, do this way. Try it this way. And then I do it that way. And then on the last take for me, for Power Rangers, they were just like, okay, just after the notes I gave you and whatever comes to your brain, just do it. We just want to see it right now. And then we did it that way. And then on the fourth one, they were just like, okay, I have an obstacle for you. I'm gonna say your lines and you're gonna say the other character's lines. And in the back of my head, I'm just like, my acting coach told me to do that. And she prepared me to do that. And literally, he was like, I'll give you 10 or 15 minutes. And I was like, I'm good. Like 5 minutes, I'm good. And he was like, okay, stepped out of the camera. This is in the hot garage. Turned on the fan. So it was like a fan going like, turned on the fan, dropped the takes. And I told my mom was my cousin was my reader that day. And I was just like, all right, well, you just, we finna just switch lines and stuff like that. And then boom, voila. I was like, all right, bet. Went back onto camera, did the other line. And like all their faces was just like, okay, all right, cool, bet. 2 days later, I got the email saying, congratulations, you have booked the role of the Gold Ranger. And I always remember that, like, it's crazy. It's crazy. Because I knew the story. Right. Right. Yeah, this industry, man. Yeah, this industry. But that's in any career field. Everybody has that. So I'm not feeling sorry for myself or anything like that. Everybody goes through hard times. What's the new saying that they say nowadays? Life been lifing. That happens for everybody. So never feel down in those moments. Just know somebody's got it worse than you right now, somewhere in the world. And don't let it sink you. You just survive. You go swim. Even if you don't know how, you go swim. So that's one of the lessons I've been learning as I've been progressing and growing. And I always live with that, and I always love to share with other people that too. Because a lot of people, it takes, like, out of everything I said today, it could have been a sentence or two that somebody was able to take away from that. And that's one thing that I appreciate, because me, I'm the same way. Like, if I was sitting right here and somebody was up here talking, I'm a sponge. So you could have said four words up there that I just took and ran with that. And that's something I got 1% better today. And that's why I love, like, going to speak and all those different things, because the littlest, tiniest things can change somebody's life as well. So, you know.
Thank you, Jordon.
You learned
Of
it
course.
while you were young.
Yes, ma'am.
You learned it while you were young.
Yes, ma'am.
Some people it takes when they're older. You learn that, you still learn that.
Yes, ma'am. But it's also because I hang around older people. My family is an older generational family. So it was just kind of like I was grown into that, but I also have to take accountability in that, because now that I'm grown, I make my own decisions. It's just like, okay, I'm gonna stick that around. So all I do is really hang around like older people. Then I'm the youngest one in my cast as well. So it's just like,
Oh, okay.
yeah, the baby.
Well, thank you, Jordon. You guys can go say hi to him at his booth.
Yeah, I'll be at the booth. If you have any more questions that you didn't want to ask in front of the public.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.